Do you read me? Come in, please.
If you can hear me, I'm going to attempt to send that QSB song through now. Pretty great.
You're close.
Hi, I'm Dennis Machenbacher, Executive Vice President for Yaesu for North America. We're a global company, but my responsibility is for North America, which happens to be our largest market for amateur radio products. Yaesu, which is the corporate name Yaesu Musin, is headquartered in Tokyo, and we are the largest provider of amateur radio products today, and we're proud of that. Part of the reason for that is the fact that we have amateur radio products and a wide selection of them, all the way through the beginning radios that an amateur would be interested in, hand portables, car vehicle types of radios for motorcycles, and then all the way through the to less expensive through the very expensive amateur radio for HF communications, for the shortwave long distance. So I think that's one of the reasons we're very popular with the amateurs, is that we have such a diversity of products available. We're standing next to our newest product that we just introduced this weekend. Our engineers flew it in from Japan. It's a beautiful new radio that's got just packed full of the newest technology and offered at a very reasonable price in the market. Its big brother was introduced 2 years ago, and that was the platform where we developed the technology that is used in this radio. This is our FTDX 3000, which appropriately is priced at, or will be priced at, about $3,000. And of course, we're going to bring that in just in time for Christmas. Throughout the rest of our booth, we have on display virtually every product that we carry. We like the hams to be able to come into the booth and see us, put their hands on the radio, spin the knobs, and that'll help them make a decision about it. Another product area that we're involved in is providing rotating systems for turning antennas. A lot of hams eventually decide that they want to put up a good antenna that provides some additional opportunities for long distance communication, but they have directional antennas as big or as small as like a typical TV antenna, but also some that are 80 and 90 feet long. So we have rotators, both controllers and the heavy duty turning mechanisms, and our rotators have a high reputation for survivability in high winds, ice, and snow. So we're a multi-product company, been in the business for over 53 years, and very happy to have this opportunity to speak to you. Thank you.
Welcome to the Daton Ham Fest. This is Yaesu's mobile radio line of products. It starts out from the simplest and of course the least costly, which is our FT1900. It's a single band radio, 55 watts, 2 meter, very, very inexpensive. We then move up to our 2900, FT2900. This radio has 75 watts, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the most powerful mobile on the market. It's just one major heat sink, does not have a fan, but again, it's single display, single band, 2 meter mobile radio. When we move on up, we now start getting into our dual band radios in mobile, and also these radios will have a separation head so that you can mount the body of the radio someplace else in the vehicle, usually under the seat of your car, and then the head of the radio up near where you're going to be operating. This radio has, the 7900 has backlit lights, which is very advantageous when you're at the nighttime in your vehicle. It also has a thing called hyper memories. And just take a second on hyper memories. The advantage of those is if you have multiple users or you're traveling into multiple locations, you can use a hyper memory to take a snapshot of the entire configuration of the radio. So if you have certain repeaters that you like in a certain area of the country, you can press the hyper memory and brings all those back, and then when you move to a different geographical location, you can set that up as well. Those are called hyper memories. Dual band, single display. The next in line is our FT8800, which is now dual band, dual display. If you'll notice, it's 2 meters and 440. Shows the display on the front of the radio. These radios again have a separated head, the hyper memories that we talked about, but also a feature called cross-band repeat. If you're not familiar with cross-band repeat, what that allows you to do is use like a handheld radio, which is only 5 watt, transmit into, say, the 2 meter side, come out the 440 side, using the 50 watt power that's available to you and getting an extended range. That's called cross-band repeat. Its sister radio, the FT8900, much like the 8800, has cross-band repeat, separated head, but now we have 4 bands. So you have 2 meters, 440, and now the 6 meter and the 10 meter frequencies are available for you. Again, it's in FM, but the 4-band radio gives you extended coverage as well. Now, moving on up, this is the top of the line. It has everything. This is for the user who's probably had a mobile already and now wants to do something else with their mobile experience, and that is the APRS function, which is abbreviated APRS. You can see it running right now. It's sending messages in. APRS allows you to track and be tracked where you're at, also to send messages back and forth. This radio is it's a tri-band radio, dual display, has 2 meters, 440, and 1 watt on 220 for those who would like the 220 experience. As you obviously can see, the display on this radio is very large, easy to see, but it's also probably the easiest of our mobile radios to operate. We use these software-defined keys on the radio to move around the radio. We have a set key for our menus. Notice the menus are just right in front of you. We then just can go right into the menus by pressing one button here, continue on in, and here's the really nice thing. If you make a mistake, you don't have to worry about it. We always have an escape button. Just like on your computer board, if you get lost in the programming, just press escape and you'll come back finally to the display. This is called the FTM 350. Has GPS option to it, so you can see your latitude and longitude, your speed. You can see others and track them accordingly. It also has Bluetooth capability, which is now important in many states which have restrictions against transmitting and using radio equipment. The Bluetooth will work on this radio. And lastly, we have a specialty radio. This is called the FTM 10R. Now this radio was designed from the ground up to be used on a motorcycle or an ATV, or snowmobile, outdoor type environment. And the head is separated. This is a dual band radio, but the head has a microphone in it, push to talk in the head, and it's totally waterproof. So this can sit out on the handlebars of a motorcycle and be impervious to the weather. Personally, I use this in my emergency go kit. It's very well adapted to that because obviously the waterproof head, no worry about that. The mic in the head means you don't have to carry around extra mics, although they are available if you like using a mic. And then the body of the radio can sit inside your go kit or your bag and be out of the way and not impede your emergency work. So this is our full line of mobiles. As you see, we cover the whole spectrum from inexpensive and simplicity all the way up to a little more money and complexity in the 350, the FTM 10. So this is Yaesu's stable of mobile radios. Okay, these are our all mode, all band radios. These are really special. These radios allow you, especially as a new ham, if you have your general's license, to get a compact package where you have HF as well as your UHF, VHF, all in one radio. Now this is the 897 and this is the FT857. These are truly sister radios. The difference is that the 857 has a detachable head and is really designed to be mobile. It's meant to be in a car. The 897 is designed to be a base station, but oh, by the way, you could also use this in a mobile setting. This radio does not have a detachable head, as you can see, and of course it's a little bigger. It does have one of the nicest portable handles on the side. It's comfortable. Now that seems maybe trivial until you have to carry this around on field day, and when you have a small strap, that starts cutting into the hand and gets really uncomfortable. So the 897 also is probably, or I should say has, the, I think, finest power management system of any radio, certainly in our line of radios, and I think in the industry. What I mean by that is it has a battery pack that fits on the bottom of the radio. This compartment right here can fit batteries in here. There's two batteries, A and a B battery. What's really cool about that is that you can actually be charging one battery while you're operating on the other battery. So when you're in a field day situation or an emergency situation, you got power all the time. Also, the radio knows when you're working off an external power supply, such as a linear or switching power supply. Even though you have the batteries, when you plug in external power, it switches inside to the external power and not the batteries, and vice versa. When you take out the power supply, the batteries will kick in. So this is the 897, 857, again, all mode, all band. That means it has on 2 meters and 440, it has single sideband, CW, AM, FM, and of course on the HF side, it is 160 through 10 plus 6 meters, and it has all mode. Both of these do the same. Now, while we're on the subject of all mode, all band portable radios or mobile radios, you need an antenna. Well, Yaesu has produced what's called the ATAS 120. This antenna is a self-tuning tap coil antenna, mounts on your vehicle, plugs into the radio, and when you use the tuning function, this radio will seek and find the SWR that is appropriate for the band that you're going to use. It works with both these radios, 857 and 897. And it's also very broad banded. It's 2 meters, 440, 6 meters, and then 40 through 10. Does not do 80 meters, doesn't do 160, but it does 40 through 10. ATAS 120. Now, if you're just going to go mobile and you know what frequency you're going to be on, this is called the ATAS 25. This hooks to these radios. It's the same as the ATAS, except it's manual tuning. You screw the up and down to set the SWR that you're going to use for the band, but it's very convenient. You just set it out on a tripod and play radio if you're at a campsite or an RV or something like that, and you don't want to carry around an ATAS 120 or some other antenna. So that is 897, the FT857, ATAS 120, and the ATAS 25. By the way, as long as we're on the subject of ATAS and radios, the FT450, which is our entry-level HF rig. This is 160 through 10 plus 6 meters. Also is compatible. The ATAS antenna will work on this radio as well. Again, this was designed to be a base station, but can be mobile mounted. There is holes for a mounting bracket on each side, so you can have a full high-end HF rig in your vehicle. Now I want to stress, this is a real high-end HF. The front end of this is as sophisticated as any of our other HFs in its class, and has full control, has contour shift with all the controls you need to have a great HF experience, the FT450. And lastly, our little QRP all mode, all band radio, the FT817ND. This radio, just like the 897 and 857, operates the same way, 2 meters, 440, HF, 6 meters, but it's 5 watts. It's limited to 5 watts. This has a battery compartment, which fits in its compartment here, so you can take it out fully mobile. It has a front and rear, has an SO239 in the rear, antenna connector, and then a BNC in the front. So this is as close to, I love pointing this out, this is as close to a handheld, all-mode, all-band radio as I think modern technology will let us do. It actually has a shoulder strap that hooks on the front, so when you hook on a BNC antenna, you literally can walk around and talk to the world. It's a great experience. A lot of QRPers love using this radio. This radio has been all over the world. The de-expeditioners love to use it because obviously it's small, lightweight, and when you hook up a resonant antenna, you're hooked up to the world. So FT817ND.
This is the FT250R. It's an economical single band 2 meter 5 watt repeater radio, handheld radio. It's good for beginners or to get started. You come along to the also a single bander, the FT270R, the model for 2 meters and the model for 70 centimeters, 450. This is the FT60R. It's a dual band radio. It's one I recommend for people that are entering the ham radio field as in the emergency preparedness groups and to work parades and events and races and things. It has all of 2 meter and 70 centimeters. This is a dainty little handheld for carrying your shirt pocket or your purse. The 6R is a rugged quality radio. It has the 3 bands. And this is the 7R. It's been stable in our lineup for several years. It's a fine radio. Many people really love it. The VX8DR is a later entry. Has APRS with the optional GPS antenna and lots of functions and things that hams like to play with, and AM/FM radio also when you get tired of playing and listening to the music. This is a VX8GR. It has the GPS antenna built in and all of the APRS messaging and digital functions. And these are the same, but they're the FT1D. These are engineering prototypes. The engineers brought to us our entry into the new digital modes like the commercial radios are using to conserve the spectrum, to put more repeaters, actually put different channels on the same repeater so you can save money by only building 1 repeater and having 2 channels. Expect to see them introduced later this year, and also different modes and mobiles.
Okay, good. My name is Lou Dietrich. I'm a ham radio operator. My forte is operating radios. And I've been lucky enough to be able to demonstrate a lot of these radios to our Daton conventioneers. The first one we have here is the Yaesu 950. The 950 is a 100 watt radio, 12 volt power supply required for it. The DMU, the digital management unit, goes along with it, and it will give you a display like this. It's like I said, it's a HF 160 through 6 meter transmitter and the receiver. The next one we have, if we can swing over to the FT5000. The FT5000 is a 200 watt rig, 160 through 6. It has 2 totally separate receivers, 300 hertz roofing filter, which is tremendous for RTTY, for digital modes, for CW. It comes standard with a 3 kilohertz, 6 kilohertz, and 12 kilohertz roofing filter. It has 4 antenna inputs plus a receive antenna input. Like I said before, 2 totally separate receivers. You can peak signals, you can null signals. It has digital noise reduction, a complete DSP rig for DXs, casual conversation, you name it. It's probably the top of the line rig we have right now for HF and 6-meter communication. The last rig we have over here is the FT2000. This one has been out for about 6 years now. It's either 100 watt version or a 200 watt version, and it covers 160 through 6, as the other 2 rigs do. Built-in power supply, and it has all of the latest features, the performance improvement features of the 9000, the 5000, and the 950. It has been used by many contesters, myself included, for contesting, and we've done very, very well with this one. This is our FT9000D model. There are 3 models of the FT9000. The D model has the TFT display in it. It has all of the MTU units, which are high performance pre-selector units that are already built in. It's got 2 totally separate receivers. It's a 200 watt version. The MP version is a 400 watt version, and it can be configured slightly differently than this one. The contest model is the chassis for which you can build your own solution. You can add the second receiver, you can add the TFT, you can add the MTUs, you can add the digital display. So the contest model you can configure the way you want to. The D model has most of the features in it. The MP model, you can configure it somewhat, but it's got a 400 watt final to it. It has all of the performance improvements that have been done to the 9000 model up to this point, and it's contest level and it's world class.